Welcome to Humanist Africa. Welcome to Humanist Africa. My name is Kato Mukasa. And the studio is Usain Baya, based in Kenya. And we are here to share with you some tips on parenting, Humanist parenting. But before we go there, I want to encourage you to please subscribe to Humanist Africa. We are a registered media charity organization. We are a charity organization registered to do media work in the world. And as I speak, we have studios in Kenya, Uganda. We have studios in Zambia and Zimbabwe. We have studios in Ghana and Nigeria. We have studios in Sierra Leone. We have studios in UK and of course USA. And we are growing by the day. You will join us, and of course you'll find us a very formidable team by subscribing, by joining this network. Please subscribe to Humanist Africa. We're on TikTok. We have a website. We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube. And of course, we have a WhatsApp number right there. You can send us an email right on your screen. Today, we're talking about Humanist parenting. This is episode 12. Episode 12, Humanist parenting. Now, in this episode, I'm introducing to you critical thinking. Critical thinking when it comes to Humanist parenting. Now, when you have a child, you don't need to be the father of this child or the biological mother of this child. You simply have a child under your care. A child, to me, is someone between the age of 0 to 17 years. To me, these are children. They are young. They need to be guided. They need to be molded. Remember that people get them young and destroy their thinking. They get them young and destroy their thinking. They give them wrong messages. They make them racists. They make them tribalistics. They make them corrupt. They make them haters. Children are destroyed between the age of 0 to 17 years. What are we doing as Humanist Africa? We are giving you some information on how to empower your children to think outside, but also within the box. Let us look at these two videos to introduce us to critical thinking part 2 of episodes of Humanist parenting. Have a watch, have a look at these videos.
To see the operation of the skulls.
Watch what they are doing.
The medicine man. In old Africa, he is the man who knows everything. There is a crisis here, and the witch doctor must act. And so, he prepares. He is careful.
Why is the narrator calling this man a witch doctor?
Testing the sharpness of the blades. Ready? He gathers his instruments. The universe holds its breath at the audacity of man. No anesthesia here. No hypnosis. Only the psychosomatic belief and faith in one man, the witch doctor. Opening of the cranial cavity is the most delicate of operations. Modern surgical requirements are 1 sterile nurse, 1 instrument nurse, 2 circulating nurses, not sterile, 1 anesthesiologist, the chief surgeon, his personal assistant, a resident neurosurgeon, the interning physician attached to his staff. Operating facilities, the low minimal requirements, surgical lamps, sufficient power to operate, 1 tank medical oxygen, blood of the proper type and factor, 500 units. Opening time, approximately 3 hours, depending, of course, on lack of complication. Surgery varies. Closing time, 2 hours or more. After 3.5 hours, The patient is tired. She is given something to drink, some water. The witch doctor and his assistants take time out to wet their mouths with beer. They are as casual as their patient, all evidently sharing the same complete confidence in the skill of the witch doctor. The surgical team enjoys the beer. The patient is given some gruel called uji. Obediently, the patient resumes her position for the continuation of surgery. Skull surgery. Trepanation in the outback. No oxygen, no surgical lights, no scrub nurses, no anesthesiologists, no neurosurgeons, not even sanitary, sterile conditions. And yet, the chances of survival? 96%. Better than in a London hospital. So say the old Africans. Europe, America, New Africa. They all know much, but understand little.
This is happening in East Africa, and they are talking about Buji, which is college in Uganda. This operation is being done in East Africa, and this man is saying this is witchcraft. This is the witch doctor. Now listen to that kind of bias from such a narrator. He calls medical doctors in Africa witch doctors. Now, is that fair? He calls medical doctors in Africa as witch doctors.
With the old scrub water. Warthog
it is being done in West Africa, in East Africa.
What condition is the operation directed against?
In Uganda.
Anything from cancer of the brain to simple headache. Strips of banana leaves
and the year
bind the wound shut.
Is
no
in 1870s. 1870s. But the practice had begun in 1500.
After 7.5 hours, with a large hole in her skull, there for the rest of her life, the patient walks away.
Now, back to me for the interpretation of the first video. I want to show you why it is important to teach your children critical thinking. I come from Uganda. The operations were made in Uganda from 1,500 years ago. Britain had not made those operations. They were being made in Uganda. The cesarean section was first done in East Africa and among the people in Uganda in 1870s. The cesarean section, or even before that, from about the 16th century, our ancestors tell us that some women who had had labor would be helped to deliver in a cesarean or C-section. It was being done in my country, present-day Uganda. Even before, it was being perfected in Europe. It was being done in Africa. Now, when you watch that video, clearly, doctors in my country are doing a brain surgery and successfully so do it. You have seen how they do it in 1870s. But the narrator from Europe says these are witch doctors. Why? Because it's biased. Because it's being done by an African. And for him, thinks it's superior. Theirs is medicine. Ours is witchcraft. Now you can see the mindset of a narrator who gets a camera, films them, doing their own thing to save a life. These are doctors. But because they're not Europeans, he calls them witch doctors. Let us have a look at video number 2. But this one shows to your children that people in Africa had all the knowledge, had all the technology, even to do a brain surgery, even to do a C-section before the coming of the colonists. People in Africa were treating themselves. The question is, what happened today? Critical thinking. Look at video number 2.
Your speech, I was very interested when you mentioned about that this is not the time for us to sit down and be praying.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah. What the Europeans did when they missionated Africa, they put Christianity there. And the people in Africa they believe in God. They pray to God. And they were told, if you pray, then God will help you. But they didn't tell them that you have to do something. Yeah, God doesn't give you nothing if you don't put effort. And if you give money to the church, that the priest or the pastor pray for you, this is only for benefit for the pastor, but not for yourself. Because you can pray, and you can, the church is a communication. People sing, people pray, and then they should put effort to improve their lives. And not only pray. Praying alone is nothing.
Praying alone is nothing. Praying alone is nothing. Teach that to your child. That the world needs practical people, not words, not fantasies, not hallucinations. Praying Baba, 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 Baba will not put food on your table, will not heal you, will not take your child to the school. Prayers don't work. Actions do work. We have seen ancestors in Africa, 1870, doing a neurosurgeon, opening up a skull and treat a sick person and cover the skull without a theater, without anything to do with modern technology. But our people were treating their people. How about teaching your children to think critically, to think within the box, but also outside the box? Let us look at the last images very fast, and we end this show. Critical thinking, part 2. And of course, part 12 of Humanist Parenting, right here on Humanist Africa. Now, humanism is what we should teach our children. Recognize that moral values are properly founded on human nature and experience alone. Human nature and experience alone. Very fast, Bayer. We move and conclude. Now, do not think about going for witchcraft when pipes and all that stuff. These things will never heal you. These things will never help you. Abandon them. Africa, move forward. Use your brains. This man here was cheated, acted in a movie, God Must Be Crazy, and was given a patent $50,000 when the movie made $60 million. Why? Because he was illiterate and capitalism cheated him. Critical thinking allows you to think. Now, the question I've been asking is this poverty or it is stupidity? Is this poverty or it is stupidity? Why should children be sleeping underwater? Why don't you look for a dry place? Why should you allow your children to sleep underwater and you take a photo? This is stupidity. Teach your people to avoid that. Now, this is a photo of the year. This young lady here is a mechanic, is a car mechanic. How I love her for being practical, for being hands-on. Now, ladies can do this kind of work. Ladies can be house builders, can be engineers, can be auto mechanic engineers. Ladies can do everything a man can do in the practical world. Teach your daughters to be as ambitious as this. In Nigeria, 1991, there was a prophet by the name of Daniel Abdurin. He felt that he was inspired by the story of Daniel in the Bible, and he decided to be put in a cage in the zoo with lions, and of course, lions ate him. Don't be like this hopeless creature. Lions will eat you, because the Bible doesn't talk about facts anyway. Now, if you drive the nice car in your neighborhood, work in a cash business, and you don't pay taxes, you might be in a drug dealer. You might be a drug dealer, but no, you are actually a preacher. Preachers act like drug dealers. They don't pay taxes, they drive good cars, they sleep in better houses, but people give them money all the same. Don't go to these people to cheat you. Teach your children to avoid people that cheat them. Ignorance, as it was said by this thinker here, ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. It is those who know little and not those who know much, who so positively assert that this or that problem will never be solved by science. Science solves problems. This is from a man who gave us evolution. If you know Darwin, then you know it. Let us continue. Now, of course, religious beliefs to unlearn. I should tell him which religious beliefs you must unlearn. For example, I am nothing without God. Unlearn that. You are something without actually God. You can be better without actually God. My desires are sinful. No, your desires are not sinful. They are only normal and natural. Your spiritual self is all that matters. No, your spiritual self doesn't actually matter that much. Yes, I'm responsible for serving others. No, you are not responsible for serving others. Save yourself, then you'll be able to serve others. That is me talking to you. Save yourself. Learn how to save yourself, then be in a position to save others. There is only one right way to live. No, there is not only one right way to live. Actually, there are a million ways to live. There are a million ways to live. I'm broken and need to be saved. No, you are not broken and you don't need to be saved. If you are broken, yes, you can fix yourself. No one is going to come and save you. I cannot trust myself. No, you can actually trust yourself if you think for yourself. Now, these are tips I would give to any child if they approach me within a dilemma. I'm nothing, I'm fearful, I'm useless. I'll tell them exactly what I've just said right now. Thank you so much for watching. It has been a great show. We're talking about what can you do to empower your child to think critically. We began with a video to show you that in 1800, people in my country were doing C-section, were doing neurosurgery. They never waited for Europeans to teach them because they were not there anyway. My people were already doing surgery. They were the best medical doctors in their area, in their time. But when European came, we called them witch doctors. Witch doctors that were doing surgery, fixing brains, fixing the head, doing C-section. He called them witch doctors. You can see the biases they teach our children. Now, I encourage you to teach your children to think for themselves. Not everything from West is actually good. Much of it is harmful. Much of it is propaganda. Teach your children to think for themselves. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Katom Mukasa, Hussein Baya on the screen, in the studio to do the production. Please subscribe. Watchman TV. See you in the next one.